Hello everyone and welcome to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Today's video will be part 2 of our tour of Asgard. We'll be covering the left side of the city in the map, and I've actually done some math based on where the sun rises and sets in the game and determined that the Bifrost leads out towards the northwest, which means that this side of the map is technically the northeast. Now the first household we're going to meet today is Freya and Freyr. They're both considered to be gods of love and beauty in the Norse mythology, and it's specified that Freya rides a chariot pulled by 2 cats. So, I love cats. We have 2 cats here. Now, this is the first of what I would consider to be the Npc Houses. Instead of normal playable professions, these 2 are proprietors for some of the venues across town, which does mean that you can't actually play them without knocking them out of those roles. So I use a lot of custom content in my game, and sometimes it's hard for me to remember whether a particular item is official or custom. I'll always try to give credit when I do remember, but if you spot something you recognize, please do let me know. But this object here, I got it from the Sims resource. It's a Hideaway Litter Box created by Lily of the Valley. Great for when you want the gameplay experience of having cats without having to look at their poopy boxes. Links are in the description below. Now this next character is obviously another reference outside the MCU, and she is another NPC working as a waitress in the Royal Palace. And this is our first example of the small Asgardian city house that I've designed. It's nothing fancy really, I was just trying to work with a particular aesthetic here, combining the medieval and futuristic aspects of Asgard into something relatively mundane. And it's getting dark, so I'm going to jump to the morning to continue this tour. And finally, we get to one of the main characters from the movies. For gameplay reasons, I decided to start Sif and the Warriors 3 out as teenagers, and that meant I had to find some responsible adults to take care of them. In Sif's case, I thought that perhaps Tyr, the leader of the Royal Army of Asgard, might be a suitable role model and guardian. And as you can see here, she currently has blonde hair. That's because in the mythology, when Loki cut her hair, he also turned it black. And at this stage in the game, that hasn't happened yet. Also, in regards to the traits that I've given various Sims, Loki obviously being a prankster, I've given pretty much everyone who hates him the no sense of humor trait. As for Tyr over here, well, I've based a lot of his appearance on his namesake from the TV series Andromeda, rather than from any other Marvel or mythology references. I just think he looks better this way. And this is a larger version of the Asgardian city house that I've designed. Here you'll see that this has up to 3 bedrooms, although one of those rooms is being used as a gym in this particular household. That just seemed to make sense for these 2 dedicated warriors, even if they are really close to the royal training grounds here. So next up on our tour, we get to meet a teenage version of Hogan the Grim. And in creating a family to take care of him, I decided to also give him something to be grim about. He lives with his mother and his uncle, but I've also created Sims for his father and 2 brothers who died in some war or other. I like to have a backstory and history for some of the characters that I play, and here you can see the family tree showing his 2 brothers here and his father up here. And here you can see the gravestones for the dead family members as well, so theoretically you could bring them back as ghosts. This is another one of those large Asgardian houses. This time it actually does have 3 bedrooms because his mother is not sleeping with his uncle. That would be weird. This is actually her house. Her brother-in-law is just here to help out with raising her child, and so she has the master bedroom. And the two responsible adults in this household also have full-time NPC jobs as vendors in the main marketplace, which you'll see later. And now on to Heimdall, who lives in one of the small city houses as close as possible to the Bifrost Bridge. Designing armor in this game is a bit of a nightmare, but I think I've done the best I could here. And now to have a look at the community lots on this side of the city. We'll start with the Equestrian Center, which is just a standard one that I got with the game, and I plopped down here in the middle of Asgard. I don't think it looks too out of place. And next we have the East Plaza Marketplace, which includes a spa, an arboretum, the gypsy caravan, the theater, and the consignment store. And here you can see, like I said before, Hogan's mother buys and sells alchemy, potions and reagents, and his uncle buys and sells relics. And here you'll see the park, separate and distinct from the festival ground that you'll see next episode. This would be the venue that Loki used in Ragnarok to put on that play honoring himself. You can see the stage right here. And finally, I'm going to explain what this thing is. Officially, it's a Xandarian spaceship that crashed on Asgard's border and decided to set up shop as a high-class drinking establishment. Unofficially, it's a very obvious Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy reference. And here's the ragtag crew of morons that came with that ship. I've decided to make Trillian a Krylorian. We see several of that species throughout the Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Then we have Marvin, the paranoid android, with simulated emotions and a mood adjuster as his trait chips so he can be miserable and make everyone around him miserable too. And these characters are all NPCs as well. They all work at the Heart of Gold Lounge. We have 4 of them as waiters and then Trillian as the mixologist. And you can probably guess by now that I like to throw a little bit of every fandom that I like into my creations. But while I will be doing that even more in the future, I also am very focused on getting the details that are taken from the Marvel Cinematic Universe as close to accurate as possible. The whole reason I do this is really for the fun of seeing the things that I enjoy in an interactive environment like this. And it's also kind of an unpredictable environment because I like to play with the free will on and weird things happen, which for me is kind of the point. And that's it for today. Our next video will be covering this area of the map, including 5 households, and finishing off our set of Sif and the Warriors 3. I hope to see you all again then. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more from me.